What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2 and the very first post-launch DD2 build guide. Now, contrary to popular belief, I actually have just awful luck finding gear. If it takes somebody 20 runs to find something, it usually takes me 50 runs. It's just how it's always been in just about every game I play. My RNG luck is just awful. Now, when I first start grinding for an item, one of the first things I always want to do is just max out the runs for efficiency, get as many runs done as quickly as possible in hopes that I find the item quickly that I'm looking for. Now, after I grind out a map over and over again and I still haven't found the drop, then it's time to start thinking about something else, and that is not necessarily efficiency, but more just looking at entertaining ways and fun ways to play the game. Now, as most of you know that have been watching my live streams lately, I've been really putting the work in on trying to find a staff for my apprentice, and I just can't find one. And, there's no way more entertaining to me personally than play a Tornado apprentice than with a Knockup build. Now, with Knockups, what it's referring to is taking a grounded enemy and throwing it into the air. Now, when a ground mob is on the ground, it's a ground enemy. When it's on the air, it is considered a flyer. And that allows us to take advantage of hard-hitting defenses like the Sky Guard that are going to target only flying mobs. So this is going to be a Sky Guard heavy build, and it should be a lot of fun. Now, for this run, I am going to be using Mystic Walls, because of course, Mystic Walls give us some more knockup, throwing those enemies into the air. So I'm going to be using a totem with Power Pylon, Fortification, and Enduring Bubble. Now, Power Pylon is really an optional shard here. I'm using it just for fun. I do plan on stacking my Poison Dart towers relatively close to the walls, so they should be close enough to get the buff, and in fact, I'm going to make sure that they're actually close enough to get the buff. Now, I am going to be using Poison Dart towers, as I mentioned. Now, there's a lot of different ways to make Poison Dart towers effective in Chaos 7. One of the things I'm really looking for out of this run is Explosive Poison, as other than getting lucky with a Geode, and there are lots of Geodes in Chaos 7, other than getting lucky with a Geode stopping right on top of one of my geysers, there's a good chance I may have trouble with them. Now, Explosive Poison, when the enemy explodes, it does pass the poison on to the next target. As you see, if an enemy poisoned by the Poison Dart Tower is killed, it detonates, dealing 150% of defense power, which is a relatively small number, and applying poison in a small area around the enemy. That is really the kicker. Now, this poison will spread through geode bubbles, and hopefully that's going to help me deal with those geodes just a bit. Now, I am going to be using Skyguard towers, as I mentioned. I'm going with Medallion with Power Transfer, Deadly Strikes, and Defense Rate. And then I'm going to add some Proton Beams for yet another combo that works well with Knockup builds, and that is the Shatter combo. So I'm going to be using Proton Beams with a mark, with Frosty Beams, Defense Rate, and Defense Critical Damage. Now, frozen enemies that are hit by crushing damage are instantly shattered for an insta-kill. That's one of the elemental combos in the game. Now, an enemy that is thrown into the air that's frozen, when it hits the ground, it is considered crushing damage, and it's going to insta-kill that mob. Now, it doesn't work for every mob in the game, but it definitely adds quite a bit to your run. Let's go ahead and build it on out. Now, I am going to go a little bit heavier on the walls than I normally do. Like here, I would usually only ever use 2 walls. In this situation, I would only ever use 1 wall, pardon me. On this situation, I'm going to use 2, and the reason being, I want more knockups. So I'm actually using the walls as a actual defensive tower, as it's knocking up enemies as well. And I do want to get this PDT close enough where it is going to get that Power Pylon buff. That's plenty close there. Let's see if I can get it out a little bit further and still get the buff. Looks like it's not getting it there, so I have to move it a little bit closer than that. And not getting it there either. There it goes. Okay, so it is getting it there. The power pylon buff is that little purple glow you see around the base of the defense. Now, in addition to that, I want to use 2 geyser traps. Now, on the geyser trap, I didn't actually show that before, but I am using a medallion with defense critical damage, power transfer, and explosive surprise. Now, people are going to ask, well, why are you using defense critical damage over defense rate? You'd think you'd want more enemies in the air. And the answer is pretty simple. Geyser traps crit like you just got thrown in front of a truck, and they do massive amounts of crit damage, and I want some big numbers rolling, so I'm going to throw in defense critical damage instead of defense rate, just for this one particular situation. And I want to try to get 2 geysers per lane. So I need a poison dart tower, walls, and 2 geysers per lane. I'm going to do the protons last, and I will tell you why once we get there. I'm going to do the same thing here. Going to go with 2 walls, although I would only normally ever use 1. And then I'm going to get a poison dart tower close enough to pick up the power pylon buff. And then get 2 geyser traps. Actually, let's put them real close together right there. Let's move them down just a touch. Just a touch. Let's go right here instead. In fact, let me make sure these 2 are stacked right on top of each other. I don't think I put them really close. No, I didn't. So let's see. Let's get this geyser moved up a little bit closer. Actually, you know what? Let's just move them both down. I'll make up my mind at some point. As you can see, this is an untested run. I'm just kind of playing around and having some fun, trying out new builds. So let's do the same thing here. This is a 1-wall area. You can put 1 wall up at that choke point. However, I'm going to bring it back and use 2 walls instead, with a poison dart tower behind it. Get close enough to get the buff. There we go. And then 2 geyser traps that are stacked pretty much right on top of each other. Here, no matter how much I want to use 2 walls, it's such a small lane. I have a hard time doing it, so I'm just going to go with 1 wall right there. I'm going to bring that poison dart tower back up behind it. Very nice. And then, once again, 2 geyser traps right on top of each other. So now I've got my walls, my poison dart towers, and my geysers in. Time to take a look at the sky guards. And I want to go 2 sky guards per side, I think. And I think I'm going to go just 1 right there and 1 right here. Now these are a little closer together than I would normally like, but I just want to make sure they're in a position to hit both lanes. I'm going to do the same thing in the middle. Now, these sky guards, I will, once again, I want them to be able to hit both lanes. And the only way to really maximize that seems like right up top here is a pretty darn good spot, as you get pretty decent lane coverage from both sides with the sky guards. Now, I've only got 90 DU left, which doesn't give me a lot of room for my protons. So basically, I'm going to pick 1 lane that I'm going to be running, and I think I'm just going to stay in this lane right here, as I'll be able to deal with the assassins and DPS that lane without any problems. So with 90 DU left, that basically leaves me 30 DU to use on each of the remaining lanes. So I'm going to go with 1 proton beam just directly across those geysers. It's going to do several things. First off, it's not very good lane coverage. That's a given. We would be better off putting a geyser, in like a V shape or something like that to get better lane coverage. However, we got to work with the DU we have. It's 30 DU for that stretch, and this is what's going to provide that freeze for me for that crushing damage shatter combo. Let's do the same thing on just each of the lanes right here. Proton right across the top of those geysers to provide a little bit of crowd control and get a few frozen mobs in the mix. Let's do the same thing here as well. And then that leaves us 100 DU left. I'm going to throw it directly into both of these sky guards, as this side I'm going to try to get through relatively unattended. Now, of course, the whole point of me doing this build is I want to get a staff. Gots to get me to staff, and to increase my chances of getting a staff, I am actually going to go with only the apprentice in my deck. Let's just go ahead and get rid of the initiate. And we'll clear the deck of everyone. We've got an apprentice here. If I do lose a wall, I've got an emergency wall I can throw down with this apprentice. But let's go ahead and check it out and see what we can do. Now, of course, the objective here is to get mobs into the air. You see the sky guards, although they are at pretty much maximum range over there. They are reaching into the lane. Let's get these mobs airborne and get some sky guard shots flying. This, of course, being my weakest lane, we're not getting a great display of the sky guards in action, but if you see on the other lanes, they are putting in some serious work. You definitely got the fireworks show going, that is for certain. And then, of course, the more we upgrade them, even the better it's going to be here. They're definitely getting the job done against everything that comes out on those other lanes. And then the poison dart towers are burning stuff down from behind. Now, we are taking a little damage there from those PDTs. And then we will have some ranged mobs that can get to the back. Ooh, those walls took a hurting. Gonna have to go with some upgrades on this lane for certain, and it looks like that lane as well. The Lady Orc's putting in the pain here. Alright, so you're gonna have to do a little bit of rebuilding here. Let's get an upgrade on that bad boy. We'll put, we've got to get a Mystic back out. So let's go ahead and re-throw that wall down and get one more up on it. And then I think that was it. So let's go ahead and get rid of that Mystic. Go back to just the Apprentice in the deck and dish out a little loving. Now this side obviously got beat up, so I definitely want to get some upgrades going there. And Protons, one thing you'll find is they scale just insanely well with upgrades, so watch this crit damage go up here. Oh yeah, it just doubled. That did indeed happen. Now we've got ups on those two Sky Guards. Let's get some upgrades on these two. And then take a look at our other unattended walls. These actually didn't take a ton of damage. I am going to upgrade them. And that Proton Beam as well. And then that leaves me with 200 left. Now I feel kind of obligated to pump that into this side, as this side definitely got beat up a little bit. And I want those Sky Guards dishing out a little bit more damage. Now that means these walls are going to have to just go with just repairs. No green mana left to upgrade those guys. But since I'm working this lane anyway, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now next wave we're going to start getting some assassins spawning. And one of the nice things about geysers with assassins is it's basically instant removal. Poison Dart Tower destroyed. Gonna have to do something with that PDT over there on that lane. Yeah, it was that one in the back. It's taking shots from ranged mobs. So I think if I just move it back a little bit, it will actually remedy that problem. That's alright though. We can do a little double duty and put a little work in on that lane just to get this wave completed. Ooh, another PDT down. Looks like I'm gonna have to move all those Poison Dart Towers back maybe. Definitely get a little work put in on these other lanes here. Viper's Fangs down. Uh-oh, lost a wall. Lost a wall to Lady Orcs here. Gonna have to just get all these Lady Orcs down. I'm gonna ignore that Siege Roller until everything here is killed off. Looks like just one mob left. Gonna lose my walls here. Now the Geyser Traps put a hurting on the Siege Rollers here with that explosive surprise shard. That's another interesting little fact, is Siege Rollers take increased damage to crushing damage in their sweet spot. So you need to... any crushing damage you can deal to their sweet spot makes Siege Rollers very easy to attend to. Let's go ahead and move this back really far. Let's go all the way back to, say, there. And see if that will help out. And then on this side, let's go back to... like there, and see if that will do. And then I'm going to move this wall down a little, as that placement was obviously less than ideal. So let's get a wall moved down. Whoop, got to get some more of the juice first. Let's move this wall down to there. I actually got a ton of room for that PDT now. You know what? I think I'm going to put it over further. I'm going to move the PDT over a little bit further this way and maybe double dip into the lane there a little. We'll see if this holds. I am going to have to do some heavy-duty upgrades on that wall right there. And then, once again, let's get these guys out of the deck, as I don't want to get any other weapons except staffs right now. Now, I did lose the power pylon buff off those PDTs by moving them back that far. And I'm not going to bother changing that shard out, but not getting the effectiveness on all the lanes of the power pylon for sure. Now let's go ahead, what do we got? We got 70 left. Let's just throw it into one of these geysers, as I'm leaving this lane more than I wanted to. Now we do have assassins to attend to. Now, as I mentioned, geysers definitely help you out substantially against assassins, and as soon as they start popping on me, you will see. A geyser that is ready to fire basically will insta-take any assassin directly off you. Of course, the mystic walls help out quite a bit with that as well, as it will bubble the assassins off of you. So whenever you're expecting assassins to come, the best thing to do is stay in front of your walls near your geysers, and those assassins will be good game. So we got that geode down. I don't see any other geodes causing any problems. And it looks like we've got an ogre coming. So let's put some damage into him as quick as we can here. Ooh, I'm getting beat up. I got the assassins coming, and oh yeah, death is imminent. That's alright. The poison dart towers are, although my poison dart towers are not spec'd for single target damage, they're still going to put a nice bit of damage onto any of the bosses that come. Man, these walls got brutalized here. Brutalized. It's definitely not a pretty build, but it is a fun build, and it keeps you active. Keeps things entertaining. Let's see here. We got 300 left. These walls actually didn't take very much damage. I'm just going to go with a Proton upgrade over here to get a little bit more crit going there. And then with the 270 left, let's get these two upgraded to tier 3. See how that does for the rest of the match here. The poison dart towers will give us a little something for those geodes, but you remember, while those PDTs are firing, the geodes are actually going to be reflecting the shots. So when the geodes come out, it's going to be a little painful. You need to get that poison applied to something that's outside of the geode range. Don't want to neglect this lane, even though it has been doing relatively well. But these other lanes are just taking such a pounding that I just really need to spend a little time on them here. Now, speak of the devil, here comes a geode now. Let's just go out and give that geode the direct kill. And then there's a mage in the back there too. On the lanes with protons with assassins, you get the benefit of the freeze and the assassin removal from the knockup, so it makes those pretty darn easy to deal with, to be honest with you. See, they're just instantly getting ripped right off of me. Okay, we got a wall down. Gonna have to go a little heavier on this side, I think. That's the downside. I wasn't planning on losing so many walls here, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave my Mystic in the deck now. Now, of course, you know I'm going to get some crazy Mystic weapon when what I'm looking for is an Apprentice weapon. But we are on wave 5, too, so you know what? I'll just go ahead and pull her out. I am going to upgrade these walls again. And upgrade this poison dart tower again as well. Let's go ahead and get rid of the mystic. Stick to the apprentice. Gotta stick with my original guns there. And let's just get upgrades on everything else. What else here? Let's get one of these sky guards upgraded. Then that's going to leave me 45 left for some more wall repairs. I think I checked all the walls now, but let's go ahead and get wave 5 started. And I'll just run around and check these walls as the bads are coming out. Alright, closest lane here. Since an assassin is on me, I'm going to go to this one. These guys are all getting handled here. Oh, it looks like that wall up front is taking a beating. See, I left that lane unattended, and look what happened here. Let's get some repairs going on these guys, too. Looks like a Cobalt dive bombed them, is what it was. Gonna have the stun on those guys for a little while here. And that geode is not making my life any easier here. Manually kill it, and convenience has it, the boss spawned right when I was in this lane, so alright, where did I lose a wall? Looks like I lost a wall over here, but there's actually only 13 mobs left, so I don't want to get careless here, but it does appear like it could be good game. Let's work on this assassin first. Or roller, pardon me. That roller's down. The geysers did him in. The geyser going to do this one in too? I think it might. Yeah, it is. Bringing the pain. Let me go ahead and just stay mobile and not die and let the geyser take care of that. I got some fat loots on the ground here. Not a spectacular piece. Actually, it looks like the geyser, he's out of that geyser range now. Yep, indeed. So I'm going to have to go ahead and earn my keep. Was trying to take the lazy route here and hope the geyser did the job. But there we go. And like I said, not the prettiest run there. Had to stay active, had to rebuild some walls, had to constantly do repairs. However, it's a fun way to mix things up once you get tired of just grinding out the same efficient way over and over and over again. So that will do it for now. Thank you for watching. Click that like button and please subscribe to the channel. And we'll be back soon with some more DD2. You can count on that. See ya.